YouTube is home to a number of disturbing channels. This probably doesn't come as much of a surprise, as in the past years, YouTubers have shed light on many channels that have used the platform to exploit various people and situations. Perhaps you'll recall the following. In 2020, it would be revealed that many channels uploading under the category of animal rescue videos were in fact staged. These videos, though seemingly showing wholesome content of people rescuing animals from perilous situations, are not exactly what they seem. Through the efforts of YouTubers and other internet users, some of these channels were exposed. It turns out the creators of these videos were the ones putting the animals in these perilous situations in the first place. Like this one, which shows a puppy being nursed back to health after getting attacked by another dog. But yes, it was in fact completely staged. When viewing the video, people noticed the injuries sustained by the puppy did not match those of bite marks. The injury was a large gash, something only a sharp object, like a knife, could inflict. This is just one of the countless examples of disgusting people trying to play the YouTube system. They stage these videos and receive countless views and comments from people who view them as heroes for rescuing an innocent animal. But channels like this are just one of many exploiting innocence for money and views. At the height of her popularity, YouTube vlogger Ruby Frank had nearly 2.3 million subscribers. Her channel was called 8 Passengers and loosely documented the lives of Ruby, her partner, and her 6 children. None of her viewers, however, would have suspected the hell that Ruby was inflicting on her children. In August of 2023, the following Ring camera footage would be released, showing one of Ruby's children asking a neighbor for help.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station.
What's your name? I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And said he just came from a neighbor's house. He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty.
And just like that, the illusion Ruby had created with her channel has been shattered. But Ruby is just one of the examples of countless channels on YouTube that have exploited children for their benefit. While Ruby was using her children for views, she was receiving countless comments praising her for being such a good mother, and not to mention she was also profiting exponentially. And while in 2023 she was found guilty of 6 counts of felony child abuse, there are still a number of perpetrators hiding behind our favorite video sharing website. These are YouTube's disturbing orphan channels. Orphan Girl is a channel on YouTube with just over 13,000 subscribers. The clip you have just seen comes from a video titled "Orphan Girl Struggles to Make a Living but is Knocked Over by a Drunkard." The video in its entirety opens with a young girl sleeping under a bridge. She is wearing tattered clothing and appears to be completely on her own. She makes her way through a small village, collecting cans and other things that she can make useful. She eventually sells the cans for money before using her earnings to pay for rice. The video ends with the clip you have already seen. Orphan Girl returns to her home under the bridge and makes a small fire to cook her rice. Eventually, the drunk man stumbles past her and knocks over her pot. She then eats the remains of the rice while crying. The video ends. This formula is commonly seen throughout the rest of Orphan Girl's uploads. Most of the titles are exploiting Orphan Girl and her struggles, like this one titled "Full Video of the 30-Day Journey of an Orphan Girl Struggling to Make a Living," or this one, "Orphan Girl Built a Shack to Sleep in the Rain and Scavenge for a Living." The thumbnail highlights a moment where Orphan Girl is attacked by a man who takes her food and tosses it around in front of her. I'm sure at this point you and I are asking the same question. Who is behind the Orphan Girl channel? It's very clear that these moments are scripted to some extent. Orphan Girl herself is wearing tattered clothing, but it looks to be purposefully cut to look ragged. The truth is quite disturbing. Just as Ruby Frank exploited her children for YouTube views, the same can be said for Orphan Girl. These uploads, which show a young girl struggling to make ends meet, have garnered support from viewers who believe Orphan Girl to be a genuine child in distress. In the comments section, concerned viewers can be seen reaching out to see if Orphan Girl needs help. The channel often responds, saying things like, yes, they need support. Other commenters are donating directly to the channel, believing their money is going directly to a girl who is living in poverty. In a video posted on February 16, 2025, the channel takes a turn, and the child playing Orphan Girl is switched out with another. As the description of this video reads, I was on the way and accidentally saw a girl lying entirely against the wall by the roadside, her mouth always saying she was hungry. I took her to my house and I grilled fish, called her to wake up and eat to ease the hunger, and I asked her to tell me her real name was Lon. We are both orphan girls, so my parents decided to let her stay with me. In the evening, my grandmother found me after many years of searching for me. Lon and I had only met each other for one day. Now we had to be apart again. The rest of the uploads after this one follow the story of Lon and are more or less the same story. A young girl who must work tirelessly to support herself. In an upload titled, The Orphan Girl House Burned Down, She Faded from Hunger, What Will Happen to Orphan Girl? She is found on the side of the road by a stranger who offers to house her and nurse her back to health. The comments on this video have been disabled. The channel as a whole rides the line of morality. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for some of the channels we're about to cover. In the description of Orphan Girl's channel, she says that her location is in Vietnam. This is very important moving forward because Vietnam has an issue with child labor. While many children in other countries are attending school, roughly 30% of Vietnamese children join the labor force. This isn't always out of personal choice, but more often than not, necessity. Poverty runs exceptionally high in Vietnam, and many children must work at an early age to help support their family. In 2014, there was an attempt to turn this around, as laws were set in place to help prevent the exploitation of young children. These laws prohibited Vietnamese businesses from employing anyone under the age of 15. Despite this, the Vietnamese government does not heavily enforce this law, which has allowed for the exploitation to continue, especially in more rural villages like this one. Lee Toi Bong is another Orphan Girl channel. It follows the story of a 12-year-old girl who is being looked after by her stepmom while her father is serving in the military. In the videos, Lee is often seen being mistreated by her stepmother, who sends Lee out to work while she stays home. In a lot of the uploads, Lee is put in distressing situations and is made to cry on camera. In a lot of the thumbnails, the stepmother can be seen dragging Lee across the ground. In other cases, Lee is unconscious or being resuscitated. The profile picture for the channel shows Lee sitting in some type of sewer drain. The description tells us that the channel is run by Lee, who hopes to share her life as she survives with her cruel stepmother. Below, we can find a link to Lee's PayPal, or should I say, whoever is running the Lee Toi Bong account. These videos, much like Orphan Girl, are mostly scripted and made to trick people into believing that this account actually belongs to a 12-year-old girl. I know what you might be thinking. Sinister, what's the difference between this and a kids show or movies that depict children in dangerous situations? The difference is, we know that those things aren't real. These orphan channels profit off of the idea that these children are actually starving or being mistreated. But not all these types of videos are scripted. So this would normally be the part in the video where I say, hey, moving forward, things are going to be censored, and if you don't like that, go ahead and subscribe to the Something Sinister Patreon, uncensored content, blah, 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 blah. That is not going to be the case with this video. In fact, even if you are watching this on Patreon, the following content is going to still be censored. And I know that that kind of goes against sort of the idea and the appeal of the Patreon, but there's just something about showing uncensored footage of children in pain and distress that would make me know better than the people who I am talking about and protesting against in this video, if that makes sense. And if I can sort of preserve any sense of that innocence, I would like to do so. So just, sort of keep that in mind moving forward. These are real children and real situations, and I don't want to directly profit off of, their pain or anything like that. So, okay, on with the video. Lee My Z is without a doubt one of the most deplorable channels I have ever seen. How it has managed to stay on the platform is and continues to be a mystery. The story echoes similarities from what we have already talked about. A single mother who has been kicked out of her home, struggles to feed her children. The big difference here is we are focusing on a family instead of a single orphan. The children in these videos are also much younger. The titles and thumbnails on the channel begin with the focus on the single mother, her children serving as secondary characters. This would change on the 12th upload, when the children would take center stage. Immediately, we can see a drastic increase in viewership with 68,000 views, whereas the previous uploads had a difficulty ever reaching 10,000. The thumbnail of the 12th upload also begins a new trend. This one shows the two children sitting on a rocky ground. The smallest one is crying as a thick log seemingly crushes him. This influx in viewership was enough to convince the creators of the Lee My Z account to shift their focus to putting these children in distressing situations. The narrative now states that the single mother must go to work on her own each day, leaving her children alone to do as they please. Somewhere along the way, she adopts a 7-year-old girl who is more often than not abusing her siblings. This video, titled "Two Children of a Single Mother Are Hungry, 7-Year-Old Must Go Trash Music," features a thumbnail of the 7-year-old girl attempting to strangle the youngest sibling. Later uploads try to top this, showing the older sisters putting the youngest in more dangerous situations. In an upload titled "Single Mother Goes to Work, Two Naughty Daughters Light a Fire," the thumbnail disturbingly shows the youngest lying on what appears to be hay as it is set on fire. But this wasn't pushing the envelope far enough for Lee My Z. There are 2 uploads on the channel showcasing the older sisters standing over the youngest and either hitting him or dropping large objects on him. In each of the thumbnails, blood has been added around the young boy's mouth to further dramatize the situation. This would prove to be successful for the channel, as the combined viewership for these 2 uploads is nearly 200,000 views, the most successful the channel had seen at the time. As of making this video, the last upload on the Lee My Z channel shows the oldest sister putting her foot on the boy's throat. I want to make it a point to mention, though the videos here paint these 2 young girls in a very negative light, it's important to remember that they are most likely being told what to do by the channel's creator. All of the camera angles throughout the series have been carefully thought out and executed, something that I don't think children would be thinking of, meaning that these children were never truly left alone. There are many moments throughout the series where you can tell that the sisters don't want to hurt the youngest, and that they're only doing so to appease the adult behind the camera. But who exactly are these adults behind the camera? The answer isn't always easy. It's clear with the Lee My Z channel that it most likely belongs to the woman portraying the single mother. When she found out that her children were more profitable than she was, she took a step back and gave them the spotlight. In a similar sense, the channel Single Dad Life is very obviously run by the man portraying the single dad. But if you read the description, it's almost like it were written from the perspective of his child. Currently, my father and I's life is very difficult, and I hope everyone will help. Single Dad Life and Lee My Z are adults who are very aware of what they are doing. When looking at this very disturbing upload from Single Dad Life, the caption reads, "Full video, 1.5-year-old orphan boy disobeyed and was punished by his older sisters." And though the description we just read tells us that these videos are being filmed in Vietnam, the video, oddly enough, is pinpointed to the United States. And Single Dad Life isn't the only orphan channel to do this. In fact, most of these channels state that they are either from the United States or the United Kingdom. This is a small, seemingly insignificant detail, but I think it's very important and very intentional on the creators' behalf. By tagging their videos with the United States and United Kingdom, I believe the hope is for more people in these countries to view these videos. I think the perception from the Vietnamese creators is that people in these countries are more likely to have disposable income and therefore will donate to their channel if they feel bad enough for these distressed children. One of these channels claiming to be based in the United States is Orphan Toy Ann. This channel, unlike the others, features a young boy as the central figure. Though most of the uploads show the boy harvesting vegetables and farming to stay alive, the channel's creators would begin pairing images of the boy with large snakes in the thumbnails. These videos would do incredible numbers, with one of them reaching nearly 5 million views. Eager to piggyback off of this success, nearly all of the following uploads show the boy fighting off some sort of large snake. This wouldn't be enough, however, and the thumbnails would soon turn into various depictions of the boy being consumed by a large anaconda. In some of the variants, he has a machete and is fighting for his life, while others show him screaming as the snake wraps itself around his body. I admittedly have not watched every single upload from Orphan Toy Ann, but in the ones I have seen, none of them contain scenes where the boy is being attacked by a large snake. There's not even a shot showing a snake slithering in the grass or through the jungle or anything of the sort. These thumbnails are purely an attempt to capitalize on an audience that is concerned for the safety of the young boy. It begs the question, how far will these content creators go to achieve the highest numbers possible? Lee Tai Toyed Free Life takes these thumbnails to a whole other level. This channel follows the same single mother setup, but contains some of the most deplorable thumbnails we have seen so far. The most popular video is currently sitting at 15 million views, and the thumbnail shows the single mother, an adult woman, hovering over her child with her hands wrapped around his neck. As if this wasn't bad enough, the content creators have edited blood and scratches over the child's face. And this isn't the only time they have done this. There are dozens of other thumbnails following the same formula, only the child is put in different positions. Sometimes he is hanging off a bed, and other times his mother is lifting him off the ground. Simulated blood has been added to these ones as well. And there's a pretty clear reason this channel repeats this pattern. Videos of the mother strangling her bloody son are some of the channel's most popular content. And all this makes you wonder, where is YouTube during all this? Even if you're not a content creator, I'm sure you're aware of YouTube's strict policy regarding children. According to their rulebook, content that exploits, abuses, or endangers children is strictly prohibited. So how do channels like this fly under the radar? As we've discussed in previous uploads, YouTube's algorithm is sort of complicated. A majority of videos uploaded to the platform never receive more than a handful of views. As such, they are more likely to be overlooked by the algorithm. This means that videos can contain content that goes against their policies, and YouTube does nothing about it. However, say these videos start gaining viewership over time, the extra eyes on these uploads are picked up by YouTube's algorithm, and the video is put through another round of screening to ensure that it fits their standards. So, To make things brief, videos with little to no views can upload rule-breaking content, but videos that receive frequent viewership cannot. But there's an issue here. These orphan channels are not pulling in small numbers. Sure, not every video is going viral, but the aforementioned upload from Litai Toyet Free Life has 15 million views. Given what we know about the algorithm, it's nearly impossible to think that YouTube has not screened this video at all. So, what's the loophole here? To be honest, I'm not exactly sure. It could be because even though the thumbnail itself shows the mother strangling her child, the action doesn't actually happen within the video itself. We've heard of YouTube taking down videos whose content violates guidelines, but what if it's just the thumbnail? The current policy prohibits sexual imagery from being in thumbnails, no nudity or anything like that, but included on this list is also violent imagery that intends to shock or disgust, as well as graphic or disturbing imagery with blood or gore. Given these guidelines, Litai Toyet should have had this video removed a long time ago. But even still, the problem persists. I try and have sympathy at the end of the day for the adults behind these orphan channels. I know that some of them are desperate and this is their means of making money and taking care of their families. It's just in my nature, though, to try and see the good in people. But these actions are hurting their children in the long run. What kind of parent would exploit their children for views? Put their children in positions where they are being strangled, eaten alive, or bruised and battered. All the views, the money, is not worth a lifetime of potential issues these children might face from the trauma and neglect they have endured in these videos. If you feel inclined to do so, please visit these channels and view them for yourself and determine whether or not they have a place on this platform. And if you feel moved to do so, report these channels so that the exploitation of these children does not continue. Due to the efforts of various YouTubers, I know change is possible. If you find more channels that you think showcase similar or problematic content, please share them in the comment section below or send them to me personally through Patreon. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.